Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, like, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucamus Prime here. So, it's time for the next episode of my series of Old is Better Than New. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about, this time, an action franchise where I personally think the old films are much better than the new films. And the first installment is my personal favourite of this franchise, and it's one of my favourite action films of all time. And this franchise, why I definitely say Old is Better Than New, is none other than the action thriller franchise of Die Hard. So, you guys, of course, going to be asking me what my thoughts on the franchise then. So, my personal favourite of the franchise is most definitely the first movie, Die Hard, released in 1988. Easily, for me, one of the best action films of all time. And John McClane himself is easily my favourite role of all time, from Bruce Willis as well. And I hope he's doing well nowadays, of course. I really hope he's doing well. And with a great villain being Hans Gruber, played by absolute legend Alan Rickman, may he rest in peace. Considering this is his first ever film, he absolutely nailed it as such an amazing villain, in my opinion. He just nailed it. And the film has lots of great action, memorable moments, just everything you want in an action film, just a perfect action film right there. And a perfect way to start off this franchise. And yes, I also regard this film as a Christmas film as well. Then, of course, it then got a sequel, which was released in 1990, which is Die Hard 2, Die Harder. And the sequel, in my opinion, is good. But definitely, in my opinion, nowhere near as good as the first movie. I will say that. But it's still, in my opinion, a really good sequel. Because John McClane is still a great character as always. And I like how he did something different to the first one, where it moved to a different location. Because this one, of course, takes place on a skyscraper, whereas this film takes place at an airport. So I love how these old films, of course, were innovative when it comes to the settings. I really like that. It was also, once again, a Christmas movie. And while I thought the villain in this film was weaker than Hans Gruber, I still think he was, in my opinion, a good villain. I'll say that, in my opinion. He was a good villain, but in my opinion, weaker than Hans Gruber. Like, when you compare him to Hans Gruber, yeah, he's definitely, in my opinion, not as good. But I still think that William Stewart was good, played by William Sadler. I think he tried his best, in my opinion, as him. When it comes to what is, in my opinion, the best of the sequels, though, for me, it's most definitely, of course, Die Hard with a Vengeance. I definitely really love this sequel. It's one of my favourite action film sequels of all time. And to me, it's my second favourite in the franchise of all time. And it once again has John McClane being the amazing character he always has been, with great action scenes and a new plot as well, because this is the first one in the franchise to not take place at Christmas, and it has a new story which features Hans Gruber's brother Simon, played by Jeremy Irons. And that's definitely my favourite live action role of Jeremy Irons of all time, because he absolutely nailed it as Hans' brother Simon. And the film also does a great job introducing a sidekick to a franchise, which is, of course, Zeus Carver, who is played by the absolute legend Samuel L. Jackson, who is so hilarious and definitely, in my opinion, the best addition to his film, because he was so funny and a great sidekick to John. And the film is definitely, in my opinion, really awesome. To me, it's the best for sequels. Like, I think this sequel sets a great example for, of course, like, other films of how you do a great sequel. To me, it's the best out of the Die Hard franchise's sequels. And then, of course, in 2007, we got a fourth installment, which is Live Free or Die Hard 4.0, whatever you want to call it. And I personally think this is an underrated film. I mean, is it as good as Die Hard 1 and 3? Not in my opinion, no. But I still think it's a very underrated film that I think deserves more love, to be completely honest. Because John McClane is once again a great character, and the film also has a great villain being Thomas Gabriel, who is my favourite role of all time, from Timothy Olyphant. And the film also does a really good job as well, you know, like developing John's relationship with his daughter as well in this, who of course is Lucy, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And I think this one did a great job with it. And also, Justin Long was also good in this, as of course, as John's sidekick called Matt Farrell. It's also really funny how this film has better father and son chemistry between those two characters than the next film. That's just really sad, in my opinion. And once again, what I also really appreciate about this film, and what I appreciate about the other films, is how they once again did something different, because Timothy Olyphant's character, Thomas Gabriel, is a cyber criminal, which I thought was really cool, because compared to previous villains, he's a cyber terrorist, and I thought that was a really good change, and with a new story as well. And if you guys are asking me which version of the film I prefer, of course, the extended R-rated version of the film. To me, it's the true version of the film, because I wasn't a fan of how they toned down the violence to make it have like a PG-13 rating in America, and also cutting out John McClane's iconic characters of Yippee-Ki-Yay, which was a bad move in my opinion. The other thing they did was they censored the swearing part of it with a gunshot. But in the actual R-rated version, to me, the true, real version of the film, he does say the entire catchphrase, though, in a very epic delivery, in my opinion. And to me, guys, as I said before in my Die Hard ranking, and on my video of movies that didn't need sequels, Die Hard 4.0, or Live Free Die Hard, to me, is the end of the Die Hard franchise. I like to pretend that this franchise is only 4 movies with nothing after it. And now, here is why I'd say the old films are much better, because, unfortunately, despite me regarding Die Hard 4.0 as the trend of a franchise, we then got a 5th installment release in 2013, which is, of course, one of the absolute worst sequels I've ever seen in my life. One of the worst ones I've seen in my life in general, which is A Good Day to Die Hard. Oh my goodness. Now, at the time of this recording, I've only seen that film once, and that was on Christmas time about 3 years ago now, I think in 2021, Christmas time. And I absolutely hated it. Like, I think it's one of the worst sequels of all time. A terrible film in my opinion. But it didn't need to exist in the first place because Die Hard 4 had a great ending to the franchise anyway. Because what this film does is, compared to the first 4 films where John is a very likeable and fun character to watch, in this film he's massacred beyond all belief. Now, the only scenes that I liked him in this film were the scenes where he interacts with Lucy. Because she appears in this film briefly, and the scenes where he talks to her, it feels like it's John. But when the character, of course, is in Russia, where the film takes place, he's no longer John, in my opinion. Like, this film would not be out of place if you watched it unaware it's a Die Hard film and you thought it was one of those direct-to-video films which Bruce Willis was in towards the end of his career. Like, you can't even tell it's a Die Hard film because it just lacks everything that made the first 4 films so great and memorable, in my opinion. And not to mention, you know how I said that in the 4th film, of course, Matt Farrell and John have great father and son chemistry, even though they're not actually father and son. I say that because in this film, we do get introduced to John's actual son, Jack, who's played by Jai Courtney, and goodness me, Jack is probably one of the most insufferable characters I've ever seen in my life watching films. Like, he was, in my opinion, a terrible character. Just so annoying and unlikable. I couldn't stand him whatsoever. And it was really annoying how John and Jack just didn't get on at all. Like, it just really annoyed me, in my opinion. Like, when we're arguing, it just really annoyed me. Like, I came to watch a Die Hard film, not a film about a father and son arguing. No. Not to mention, the villains also sucked as well, in my opinion, too. In the film, they were terrible. Like, they were nowhere near as iconic or as memorable as those before. Like, I would gladly take the villains in Die Hard 2 over the ones in this, because they were good, in my opinion, compared to the ones in this. And not to mention, as well, when I say John's been massacred, there's also one thing I'll say is also because, for some reason, he punches a Russian who's shouting at him, of course, for crashing his car. He literally punches the Russian in the street and says, "You think I understand what you say?" Like, that is not what John would do, no. And it's why I pretend it's not a Die Hard film. It's just a Bruce Willis direct-to-video film. And I also say it feels like that because, compared to these first 4 films, which are older, this 5th film, in my opinion, also has atrocious visuals in comparison. And I really can't believe it accomplished that of having really bad visuals, especially considering, it's, the most recent film in the franchise. Like, because these 4 films here, great visuals, in my opinion, which hold up really well, and they're always a joy to watch when I rewatch films. As for 5th film, it's horrible, in my opinion. It looks so pale. I mean, I say that because it literally pales in comparison to the first 4 films, but yeah, the film literally is pale. And the CGI is also trash, such as, for example, the fire. Like, when I saw the fire, I was embarrassed because you can tell it's CGI, not real fire, just easily. Like, I've seen far better fire CGI than that in lots of things I've seen. Like, and that's just really appalling, in my opinion. I remember watching the film, I was facepalming many times. I was ranting when watching it because it was just so bad. Like, the film is just, in my opinion, insufferable. And I personally love to watch the theatrical version over the extended version because what's done with the extended version is, for some reason, it cut Lucy out of the story. It erased the scenes completely, which is why that, for me, gives it a full-on 0 out of 10. But I give it a Good Day to Die Hard theatrical version a 3 out of 10 because of her. Because her scenes are probably the only good scenes in the film. It literally feels like it's Die Hard with her scenes, and that's it. But the extended version book gets a 0 out of 10 for me for cutting her scenes. That was a very bad move, in my opinion. So, I say Die Hard's better than all of them and new because of great characters, great villains, great stories, great action, I must say, too, as well. And characters who are actually likeable and good to watch, who you can actually, you can enjoy watching, you can relate to. But as for ones that are good at Die Hard, no. If a character in that film, in my opinion, is just insufferable, and ones who I just can't stand watching. In the future, I will one day be posting reviews for the films I've seen, but unfortunately means I will be doing a trash talk of A Good Day to Die Hard, which I'm not looking forward to at all because I hate that film so much. I can totally see why lots of people I know hate that film because I hate it too. It's just trash in my opinion. Like, I still can't believe the first four films are much older and they're miles better. Like, because I think the first four films should be seen as a great example to others about how you do a great franchise. And I like to pretend, of course, that 4 is the end of this franchise. To me, it is. And it looks like I'm not going to be doing any more films, and you know what, good. Because the 5th film was trash. I mean, the franchise, in my opinion, was dead the moment they did the 5th film in the first place, because the 4th film ended the franchise perfectly. The franchise died when they announced the 5th movie. And of course, they're not going to do any more because Bruce Willis, of course, retired from acting because he of course, was diagnosed with aphasia, and now, of course, he unfortunately got diagnosed with dementia, which is really heartbreaking. So, I hope Bruce is doing well. I really do, because he's an absolute legend. Hope he's doing well. And to me, John McClane is his best role, and he's, in my opinion, one of the best characters of all time. But I'm only talking about John in the first 4 films, not in the abominable 5th movie, which I pretend does not exist. So long story short, guys, in my opinion, Die Hard is only 4 movies, and they're definitely an example of what I'd say old is better than new when it comes to action films. So, you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to let in the comments what you guys think of Die Hard. Do you think old is better than new for Die Hard? Let me think in the comments below. Also, be sure to join the team by pressing subscribe videos to come in the future, and I'll see you all later.